and welcome to the Security Middle East magazine coverage of Intersec Dubai 2023. I'm Sandra Spencer, and I'm very excited to be joined by Andrew Elvish today. Andrew is Genetec's Global Vice President of Marketing and has made the trip to Dubai to be here at Intersec. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to be here with you and your audience. It's a great chance to talk to the Security Middle East audience. So how have you been enjoying this show?
It's been great. It's been really busy. I think it was like, it's definitely a lot more busier and buzzier than last year. We were still, coming out of COVID, but definitely it seems like the market is just ready to go. So, yeah. So, Andrew, question that's been on everybody's lips here at the show, and I'm keen to get your thoughts on, is what do you think are the biggest challenges facing the Middle East security industry at the moment?
That's a great question, Sandra. I think the Middle East has some very specific and unique concerns that really are central to what's going on in Middle East, North Africa, and Turkey. And I think one of the big concerns, and it kind of goes across a few regions, but I think especially here, is the impact of cybersecurity on physical security networks. It remains a top concern on, I think, almost every physical security professional's mind, but I think a lot of them don't know how to go about improving their cybersecurity game. Because here's the thing, physical security networks are really computer networks, right? Mm-hmm. The IP cameras are actually just computers with a visual sensor. And what I think stumps a lot of physical security people is, how do we start that conversation with our colleagues in IT, with chief data officers, with chief security information officers, and how do we actually get a seat at that table? And here's the risk. The risk is that the longer physical security people are sort of not in that discussion, the more I think physical security networks can be degraded, can become vectors for cybersecurity attacks, and can be entry points for a lot of bad actors out there in the world who want to take advantage of the security networks and find their way into broader corporate networks. So I think on the mind of everybody is, how do we have that discussion? And at Genetec, we've taken a very proactive stance on cybersecurity. I think a lot of people remember our decisions around removing untrustworthy devices from our network. So those are like IP devices that we've found to be really problematic from a cybersecurity perspective. And I think people have come to trust the Genetec solution in terms of bringing greater cybersecurity to their networks. So even though we're in physical security and we're all about protecting people and assets, we also have to think about that cyber world. And I think the more we do to work with our colleagues in IT, in chief data, like data security, information security, we're going to have a much better security overall for our companies that we work for the governments we work for the cities we work.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that. Okay, and which solutions have Genetec sort of introduced then to help address the challenges that we face in the modern day?
Oh, well, that's a really good question, because there's a lot going on right now. I think overall our unified platform security center continues to be the industry standard for really what we can do to provide a very open but cyber secure network. But more than that, what we're seeing in the Middle East is a continued reticence to move to the cloud, right? There are very few data centers in the Middle East. People are not especially comfortable with full-on cloud deployment of physical security networks. So what we've brought to market is a true hybrid platform. And we're introducing this year, over the last few months, something that we call StreamVault Edge. And StreamVault Edge is an edge IoT platform that allows people to really design their networks in a way that is scalable from fully on-premises to fully in the cloud, and sort of deciding how much they do of each. And I think this really addresses needs in the Middle East market, which is less about putting your data in the cloud and more about leveraging some of the great things that the cloud brings to market. Greater security, up-to-date software, up-to-date firmware, and that ability to get rid of the people hate updating software. Nobody likes updating. Have you ever gotten that message on your computer, update your software? You're like, skip it.
Yeah, no,
I hate that.
Yeah.
No, it's the same with security professionals. They don't, updating a big security network, it's a pain in the backside, Sandra. So I think as we move forward with the Stream Vault Edge, it gets rid of that problem because all of that updating is done in the background. It's done through permission, so it doesn't just do it on its own. You have to accept it and say yes or no. But it does it in a way that's way easier and way less time consuming and money consuming than in the past.
Yeah, time is money. Yeah, okay. All right. So we've recently seen Genetec's State of Physical Security report. Can you tell us a bit more about the sort of key findings from this?
Sandra's State of Security report has been really eye-opening this year, and I encourage all of your readers to go and grab a copy from genetec.com. It's all over the front page, can't miss it. But what was interesting was we have 3,700 security professionals replied to the survey so we could get an idea of what was going on in the market. And what we saw is that the Middle East continues to be at the forefront of thinking about modernizing their security networks. It's a very sophisticated market. There's a lot going on here around sort of thinking around access control, automated number plate recognition, and of course, video surveillance. And in the report, readers and repliers to the report have said that top of mind coming out of the pandemic is modernizing their security infrastructure. Yeah. I think during the pandemic, a lot of the limitations of sort of older proprietary technologies became really visible, especially in access control. Yeah. So I think security professionals now, according to our State of the Physical Security Industry report, really want to sort of take control and modernize their system, a much more open platform approach where they can sort of pick and choose which vendors they have within their ecosystem, much more unified so that they don't have to have different vendors for every technology, different training, you have to learn different user interfaces. And what's problematic when you have all of these bits and bobs all over your network is that it's really hard to get a real picture of what's going on. So what we have found is that when we have security professionals using a unified report, a unified interface like Security Center, they're much more efficient, they're more able to respond in timely manners to security incidents, and they're better able to report on what's happening in their facilities or in their cities, and they have a clear picture of what's going on. So the State of the Physical Security Industry report said that, well over 65% of respondents are putting a major emphasis on modernization, especially around access control and bringing into their networks a unified system. So that's very exciting for us at Genetec.
When we spoke to Genetec prior to last year's Intersec Dubai, one of the main talking points was the global journey to cloud. So can you tell us a bit more about how that's progressed in the last 12 months?
Absolutely. The journey to cloud has been central to Genetec, I would say, for the last 12 years. We were very much at the forefront of bringing cloud-based video surveillance solutions to market, access control solutions. And what we've seen is that while the journey to the cloud is super important, is because we see it everywhere, right? You see it in the finance department, you see it in the HR department, you see it across businesses and organizations. But what we hear from the Middle East consumer and Middle East businesses right now is that sharing of security data really is not something they want to do fully in the cloud.
Yes.
So I think, with Genetec, because of the way we've designed our systems, we're able to really bring to market that flexible consumption of cloud. So it's not all in one way or another. And I think being able to take advantage of a flexible hybrid architecture that's truly able to address the needs, because I think, a lot of security professionals in this market want that sort of flexibility and reliability of cloud, but they want to know where their data is at all times. And I think that's a really big concern. So, from Genetec's perspective, we're bringing to market tools and platforms so that systems can be designed that way. And more than anything, it's our integrators who are, really pushing that story, and they're bringing that story to us, and they're saying, help us bring this to our end users. And we've been really lucky to have sophisticated integrators who can do that and bring that to end users, that flexibility.
Yeah. Okay, so the Middle East is a vast region, right? And it comes with a variety of unique challenges, as I'm sure you and I know, and business customs. So I'm wondering, which emerging market are you most excited about this year?
Well, I think, generally across the Middle East, business is growing really fast across the whole industry. And you can see it at Intersec this year. Just walking around, there is a really strong positive energy in the industry. I think when we look at Middle East, Africa, Turkey, North Africa, there are so many different cool things that are happening throughout it. I do think that, if you look at the strength and growth of, KSA, UAE, Qatar, these are markets that are coming into full maturity and very strong growth. But we're also seeing in Africa, like Egypt, very strong business, really coming back online. So I think to us, the whole region is very exciting, all the way down to South Africa. These are markets that are in full growth. And I think what's interesting about the markets here is that people are really willing to do sort of cutting edge things with security technology. And I think there's a lot more creativity that's happening in the Middle East, Turkey and Africa market. And that makes us excited. We're software developers first and foremost. And so when we can have, challenging, things that customers bring to us or our integrators bring to us, that gets us excited, and that helps us deliver even more exciting things to market. So love this region.
And finally, you've already touched on some of the emerging markets. So where can clients find you? Where are the next trade shows that you're going to be at?
Oh, it's Sandra. I don't think your viewers have enough time for us to go through our diaries. But I'll tell you, you'll find us really anywhere. We've got a great team here in the Middle East, Turkey and Africa. We'll be at Intersec KSA, of course. We're going to be at Security Middle East. We will be at all of the policing shows. We do our own events. I think people really know Genetec, and they know that we're really open, and we love meeting people. And, of course, you can always find us at genetec.com. We're never more than a click away, and we're happy to answer any questions. And we've got some big announcements this year in the Middle East, which I can't tell anybody about right now because...
Tell me.
Oh, I'll tell you when we turn off the cameras. But we have great news coming out later this year. So stay tuned around summertime.
Fantastic. Andrew, it's been lovely speaking with you today. Thank you so much.
A real pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much.